Last weekend, the first official Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC Regional Championship happened in Tainan, and I have compiled all the data from the top 16 to the best of my abilities and drawn some conclusions to share. Let's get analyzing. Let's first go through the usage stats throughout the top 16. On more than half of the top cut teams were Meowscarada, Goldengo, and Hydreigon with 9 placements throughout the top 16. Half of the teams in Top Cut had Murkrow and Annihilate with 8 spots each. Armorogue and Garchomp shared 6 placements each. 4 teams featured Sylveon, Grimmsnarl, and Maushold. Indeedee and Talonflame had 3 spots each. 2 teams consisted of Dragonite, Arcanine, Rotomwash, Skeledirge, Hariyama, King Gambit, and Farajiraf. And finally, Amoonguss, Breloom, Tauros, the Water one, Garganacl, Salamence, Goodra, Ceruledge, Gengar, and Kilowattrel all shined with 1 unique placement each. Now I'm going to go over the top used Pokemon and some of the unique choices on this list and go through them and why they might have been used at this regional championship. Meowscarada is not surprised to see high usage, being one of the fastest Pokemon in the game with a base 123 speed stat and access to Flower Trick, which is a grass move that always lands a critical hit, scaring away Dondozo and Garganacl unless they commit to a defensive Terra. Out of the known sets, 6 out of the 9 Meowscaradas ran Focus Sash with either 3 attacks Protect or 2 attacks Protect with Trick Room, while the other 2 known ones were Choice Banded. Goldengo is one of the most oppressive Pokemon in Series 1 with its fantastic typing, stats, and strong spread move Make It Rain, which is a 120 base power steel move. 5 out of the 9 of them were Choice Specs with the Terra Steel to further power up Make It Rain, while 2 of them were Life Orb and 1 Shuckleberry and 1 Choice Scarf sneaking in. Hydreigon is a fantastic Pokemon in this generation, with Levitate being a great ability complemented with Terra types such as Fire, Steel, and Poison, with the main ability to do well against Goldengo. Most Hydreigon at Tainan were the offensive Life Orb set with 6 placements, while 2 were a bulkier Assault Vest set, and the winner using a powerful Choice Spec set. Murkrow is one of the 2 Pokemon that gets priority Tailwind that has been popular with the move Haze that well complements Goldengo, helping with the Make It Rain special attack drops as well as facing against Dondozo teams. All Murkrow at Tainan were a Violet, which is no surprise, helping the low defense stats Murkrow has being not a fully evolved Pokemon. The sets had some variety for moves, with some opting for second speed control options in Quash, Thunder Wave, and Icy Wind, and Terras had a heavy variety with Ghost, Ground, and more. Annihilate is one of the best new Pokemon in Generation 9 with its incredible offensive typing in Ghost Fighting, great stats, and the ability to find Punishing, Intimidate, and moves like Snarl and Icy Wind. This Pokemon is very bulky, and 5 of the Annihilate sets were bulk up, with 4 of them holding leftovers and 1 with Citrus Berry, alongside a defensive type like Fire, Water, or Steel to take hits to stack Rage Fist power. The other 3 were Choice Scarf sets that can take trades with Final Gambit or apply fast damage. Garchomp is no stranger with its amazing stats and a new Clear Amulet item preventing Intimidate drops that all 6 Garchomp sets in top 16 were holding. Armarouge was very popular this term with its impressive bulk, Trick Room, and ability to do a lot of damage with Expanding Force paired with Indeedee. The sets varied with 2 Safety Goggles, 1 Life Orb, 1 Cover Cloak, and 1 Clear Amulet. Terras were mainly Dark and Grass as defensive typing, with some opting for Wide Guard, but all of the ones in top 16 had Trick Room. Maushold and his strong Technician boosted Population Bomb paired with Wylands made a wave, with all 4 Mausholds being that exact set that can be used as a wall breaker or direct attacks with Follow Me. Farajiraf showed up twice in the top cut, with both of them running Trick Room and Imprison that could set up Trick Room, deny opponents Trick Room, and prevent priority with its ability in Armor Tail. Skeledirge made 2 appearances, with both of them being Terra Grass with 1 Citrus Berry set with Will-O-Wisp and Slack Off, while the other one being an Assault Vest set. Unaware is a stronger ability in this generation with many setup strategies, alongside Skeledirge already being impressively bulky that can boost its own special attack with Torch Song. Makes it no surprise for it to do well. 2 Hariyamas made it to top 4 at Tainan, and both were holding the Flame Orb set. Hariyama is a great Pokemon with its massive HP and attack set, allowing it to do great damage and take 1 hit. A solid choice right now with Pokemon like Goldengo and Hydreigon, often with Terra Steel, very common as Hariyama can take the hit and usually OHKO back with close combat. 1 player opted for a Wide Guard set to help utilize against spread moves like Expanding Force and Make It Rain, while the other set utilized Terra Steel with Bullet Punch. We may see more from Hariyama as the season progresses, with Hydreigon and Goldengo still very high in usage. Goodra was surprising to see, but with its high special defense stat of 150 and Terra allowing it to take on a better defensive typing, it makes a lot of sense. The Goodra that made top 8 ran Choice Specs to help Goodra do more damage, while having Terra Water paired with Sap Sipper that negates grass type attacks. This making Goodra only weak to electric attacks, which are usually special attacks. Once Ceruledge made it to the top 16, Ceruledge does really well against most Trick Room teams, with Flash Fire making it immune to Torkoal Sun attacks alongside fighting and normal attacks. Bulk Up allowed it to set up with Clear Amulet, and Bitter Blade is a strong fire move that recovers HP, so it was a strong pick. Alright, let's go over some of the trends that I noticed during this regional championship. 4 of the top 8 teams, or 3 out of the 4 of the top 4 teams, had both Trick Room and Tainan on their team, while the other 4 had at least one of them. Every team has had some form of speed control method in the top 16, showing how important it is in this generation, especially for speed control. Murkrow was on all 4 top 4 teams, and 11 teams had priority Tailwind shared between Murkrow and Talonflame. Golden Go, Murkrow, Hydreigon is still dominating, with 3 of the top 4 utilizing the core and 6 top 16 teams having the trio. Bulky Pokemon that are effective against this core may be explored more, like the Hariyamas we saw in the top 4 teams. Only one Amoonguss is shocking, but with a large amount of counterplay of Safety Goggles, Terra Grass, and Taunt, maybe it's not a surprise that it is on a downtrend right now. However, it might still be a great choice that will still be expected later on as the season progresses. One thing that was huge about this tournament is that there were 0 Dondozos in the top 16, which is very surprising as many players opted to run Haze Murkrow, but Dondozo has still been very dominant, especially in the online tournament space, where Murkrow has still been a very popular choice. So I'm kind of curious if we'll still see Dondozo doing really well in the upcoming regional championships, or maybe that we'll be exploring more options as Dondozo might be a bit weaker as players now know how to counter it. One thing I noticed about watching Tainan is that there were a lot of interesting Terra types, even on the same mon with similar compositions. Some Pokemon had linear Terra types that we've seen before, like all the Dragonites were Terra Normal for instance, while there were some really interesting ones, for instance the Murkrow, that had a lot of unique defensive typings like Ghost, Flying, and Ground. Or Annihilate, for instance, a lot of the bulk up sets were running Fire, Steel, and Water. A lot of variants out there, even with similarly structured teams, which really makes me wonder about the dynamic of team building and how important it's going to be and what situations are preferred to be covered by the player. It'll be interesting to see as time goes on about teams with the same 6 but might have different Terra types, depending on the player's preference. One thing to notice is the amount of redirection and wide guard, with most of the teams in the top 16 did have some form of redirection or wide guard because of all these powerful moves, especially the spread moves like Expanding Force in the Psychic Terrain or Make It Rain. Wide guard was pretty prevalent, especially in the top 4, with Hariyama and Armarouge specifically known for it, as well as seeing just a bunch of redirection with Indeedee and Mousehold, which makes a lot of sense being able to handle it. First place team didn't need wide guard when you had 3 dark types for the Expanding Force, and you had quite a few ways to play around a Golden Go. So one thing to note is that the amount of wide guard just to prevent all these powerful spread moves, because we did see a lot of Expanding Force in Psychic Terrain as well as Make It Rain. Wouldn't be surprised to see more of that moving forward on a lot of teams. And that is everything I noticed about Tainan. If you want to know about all the information about the regional that I've gathered, you could go check out VGC Victory Road, VGC Pace, and the stream, which I'll link down below, as well as the document I used to scout for all the information that I possibly could from the regional stream, and was able to obtain almost every single team from that stream, at least all the data that I could compile, except for Team 5, which the 5th place I was unable to get any information from. But if you do enjoy these analysis, let me know in the comments down below, and be sure to leave a like as it really does help me out. And why not check out the rest of my VGC videos where I do a lot of high level battling and might bring more analysis throughout Scarlet and Violet.